Some places live on maps, some linger in memories, and some awaken only when the world has fallen silent. This is the story of Blackridge, a town that rises with the stroke of midnight and dissolves with the first breath of dawn. You're listening to The Night Before 3 a.m., where fear moves quietly and the darkness is never truly empty. Stay close. The shadows speak louder after midnight. And if this story unsettles you, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more terrifying tales. My name is Ethan Hartley. I'm a journalist, or at least I used to be one, before I started hearing the whispers, before I started waking up at exactly 12:03 a.m. every night, with the same vivid image burned into my mind: a long empty road, a flickering streetlight, and a wooden sign that read, "Welcome to Blackridge, population unknown." I had never been there, I had never heard of it, but every night the sign pulled me like gravity. I tried ignoring it, but the dream started becoming louder, clearer, closer, until one night, the voice in the dream said, "Come find us, Ethan." It happened on the night of October 17th. I couldn't sleep. Something in my chest felt heavy, like invisible hands pushing me forward, urging me to get into my car. I shouldn't have listened, but I did. I drove aimlessly, with only the moonlight as company. My GPS had no signal, my phone flickered like it was breathing, and the air turned colder with every mile. Then, I saw it, the wooden sign from my dreams, the exact same sign. "Welcome to Blackridge, population unknown." But here's the thing, there was no town on the map, there was no road leading there, and the sign looked older than the trees around it. I should have turned back. I didn't, because the moment I looked at the sign, the streetlight above it turned on, even though the wires were completely cut. As I walked toward the sign, the world shifted, subtly at first. A faint hum filled the air like a forgotten melody. The darkness thickened, and then I saw them. Buildings, street lamps, a main road, a church bell tower, a whole town, quiet, dead, and absolutely not supposed to be there. Blackridge had appeared, materializing out of darkness like a developing photograph. But something was wrong. All the houses looked abandoned. Windows were shattered, doors hung open, and yet, lights flickered inside as if someone had walked through moments earlier. The air smelled like old dust, rain, and something metallic, something like blood. I stepped in. The moment my foot crossed the boundary, every sound vanished. No wind, no insects, no echo, just silence. A suffocating, unnatural silence. I entered the first house I saw. Inside, the walls were peeled, furniture overturned, and the dust was so thick it felt untouched for decades. I took photos, but when I checked the camera screen, the photos weren't empty. They showed silhouettes. Dark, tall, human-like silhouettes standing around me, but they weren't there in real life. My heart froze. And then, a whisper from behind me. "You're early." I spun around. No one. But the whisper didn't stop. It moved around me like air made of voices. "We've been waiting so long for someone who can see us." My breath turned to mist even though the room wasn't cold. And then, in the corner, something shifted. A shadow detached itself from the darkness. Long arms, bent neck, a face that wasn't a face, just smooth pale skin stretching over bone. It didn't walk, it glided. I ran, out of the house into the street, heart pounding like thunder. But the town wasn't empty anymore. Shadows gathered at the windows. Faces watched me from doorways. Dozens of eyes, not glowing, not human, just there. The silence cracked like glass. A bell rang. One single deafening toll. Midnight. That's when I saw her. A little girl, maybe 12, standing under the street lamp. Her dress was white. Her eyes were too old. And she didn't blink. "Don't scream," she said. "They'll hear you." "Who?" I whispered. "The town," she answered. "It's hungry tonight." She grabbed my hand and pulled me toward an alley. The street behind us darkened, not like the lights went off, but like something enormous blocked the light. We hid behind a broken fence, and she spoke again. They only let the town appear when they need new memories. Memories? I asked, trembling. She nodded. They feed on them. They eat everything you remember, everything that makes you, you. And what are you? I asked. She looked down. I don't remember. A deep vibration shook the ground. Footsteps, slow, heavy, rhythmic. Something massive moved through the streets, scraping against walls, pulling shadows toward it like a magnet. The girl whispered, "Don't look at him." But I did. I couldn't help it. A towering figure walked down the road, 10 feet tall, body stitched like patchwork, skin like stretched wax. Chains dragged behind it, carved into the ground. And on its face, nothing, no eyes, no nose, no mouth. Just a blank surface with one word carved into it, collector. Every step it took shook dust from rooftops, and every shadow in the street bowed toward it. The girl shivered. When he touches you, he takes everything. Your childhood, your name, your loved ones, your entire life. Then she looked up at me. That's how I became empty. We ran through alleys that twisted unnaturally, around streets that changed shape, past doors that whispered our names. The town was alive. It didn't want us to leave. The girl grabbed my arm. "There's only one way out," she said. "You have to remember something stronger than their hunger." "What does that mean?" "Your strongest memory. Hold it tight. Don't let them take it." The shadows rushed toward us. Voices screamed from broken windows. The collector turned its blank face toward me. Even without eyes, I knew it saw me. I closed my eyes and remembered my mother's voice, her hand on my head when I was a child, her saying, "No matter where you go, Ethan, you will always find your way back." The world tore open, like reality ripping down the middle. A blinding white, a scream, a pull so strong, it felt like my soul was being yanked through my own skin. Then, silence. Darkness. I opened my eyes. I was on the road, alone. The sign was gone. The town was gone. Everything was normal. My phone buzzed. Signal restored. I drove home, trembling. But when I looked in the rearview mirror, the little girl was sitting in the back seat, smiling. "Thank you," she whispered. "Now I remember." I froze. "What do you remember?" I asked, voice barely a breath. She leaned forward, her face inches from mine. "That I'm not the only one who escaped. Blackridge will come for you, Ethan, because the town doesn't like losing its memories." And then, she faded. Like smoke pulled through cracks in the air, Blackridge still appears. To me, in reflections, in dreams. Sometimes in photographs I never took, and every night at 12:03 a.m., I hear the collector's chains, dragging, searching, calling my name, because I brought something out of that town, and the town wants it back.
Every story leaves a mark. Subscribe if you can sleep after this.